A news story out of the Hollywood Reporter says that Marvel is not rebooting. They're not soft rebooting. They're just retooling, guys. Let's talk about the big changes coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe here on That Park Place. Hello, everyone. I am Jonas J. Campbell. I'm an investigative reporter for That Park Place. And with me is Vash Sky. He's a theme park expert, but also he knows a lot about pop culture. Vash, how you doing today?
I'm doing very, very well. I guess better than Marvel. I don't know, Jonas. We haven't talked about this, but maybe I'm going to be retooled too. I don't know. I now everything's an open question.
You don't need to be retooled. You're perfect just the way you are. You don't have the permits to be retooled. How Marvel, this story out of the Hollywood Reporter by Boris Kitt and Aaron Couch, how Marvel is quietly retooling amid superhero fatigue. I would question if there is real superhero fatigue here. There might be a lack of quality fatigue. There might be franchise fatigue in general, but really what we're wanting is better movies. But maybe that's what they're after here. The studio's golden box office aura has been dented, but chief architect Kevin Feige isn't scrapping his years-long cinematic universe plan, just refining it. They're not going to give up, says an insider. I would love to know who this insider is and whether or not there's someone who really has doubts. And here we have Kevin Feige underneath what looks like the Fantastic Car, trying to repair it. And of course, Deadpool. And that looks like Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. It's so good that they finally announced that so that everyone can stop pretending like it's not him.
Same.
Just over a year ago, Ant-Man 3 was set to take Marvel Studios to the next level. A new villain was going to be introduced, setting the stage for several years worth of storytelling. And the movie itself was a giant sizing of a franchise that was previously modest in scope. I kind of like that about Ant-Man, by the way. Instead, the Peyton Reed directed movie heralded a year's worth of missteps, box office blunders, and public relations nightmares. It was all uncharted territory for Marvel, which has steadily been generating box office gold for 15 years. Well, yes, it has. It's been the most successful franchise by revenue, I think, ever. Yes. But the Disney division is in the midst of a pretty darn good February, all things considered. Citation needed. Despite the general gloom that surrounds the superhero genre as of late, Super Bowl trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine became the most watched trailer of all time with 365 million viewers in 24 hours. I love that they included this next fact, though.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Disney's math includes the 123 million people who tuned in for the game, which included just 30 seconds of
Oh, that's something that we would have come up with.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Super Bowl fudging or not, the clip's reach was an encouraging number for a studio whose last movie, The Marvels, became the lowest grossing movie in the MCU's 33-film run. Yikes. And that's, of course, not even counting all these television series on Disney Plus that have yet to make a profit.
Oh, man.
And there's going to be even less of those in order to make sure that that they make Disney Plus profitable on time. By the way, if anyone's wondering if Disney Plus is going to be profitable, yes, it is. You know how? They're going to cut everything out of it and stop spending money on it and hope that people still stay subscribed.
Yep. Moana 2, the fourth season of Mandalorian. We know all that's being retooled now and being adapted for theatrical, which shifts the budget. And so your operating expenses have gone down and not necessarily you've pulled in any more money or revenue.
Right. And a quick note on that is when Moana 2 goes to theaters, they now get to assign it to a profit center that they have never reported film losses. Never reported film losses. So that's why we will never know if Moana 2 would have been successful on Disney Plus. It's only headlines, only positive PR headlines coming out of Disney Plus from here on out.
How delightful.
Yeah. Next came the Valentine's Day unveiling of the cast of Fantastic Four. Oh, they view this one as a positive. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Eben Moss Bachrach, maybe he's related to Burt Bacharach, and Joseph Quinn, coupled with a retro art teasing a 1960s setting for the movie. Yes, and they are right. Fantastic Four is a cornerstone of the Marvel mythos. I'd say Vanessa Kirby. I don't know anyone who had a problem with that. Eben Moss Bachrach, he was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I was always debating for years that the Netflix Marvel stuff was not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but now it's literally listed by the company as part of the MCU. And he played Micro on Punisher. Did a good job of it, by the way.
Ooh.
But now I guess part of the retooling is the relentless expansion and acquisition of more Marvel properties and making sure they're listed as part of the MCU. Joseph Quinn, he's from Stranger Things. I think he'll do fine. Pedro Pascal, I got nothing against this guy. He's I'd say he's an upgrade from like a Sam Worthington or maybe some other actors that maybe they've got a little too much hype on them, but they are talented. Pedro is talented. I just don't see him as Reed Richards. So I'm waiting to see how that turns out.
That's the biggest open question with that whole thing. A lot of people are suggesting that Pedro Pascal maybe a little bit overutilized in some of these projects right here. I agree with you, Jonas. I just don't see him as Richards. I just can't make that connection. I think Vanessa Kirby was perfect casting though. And look, if you're gonna make a lot of the story about her, but no, I couldn't imagine a better female lead, to be honest with you. But Richards, man, I just don't know. It's interesting though. Going to the next paragraph, what else they make as a positive?
Yes, Marvel launched the trailer for X-Men '97, a revival of the '90s cartoon that debuts in March. The trailer set an internal Disney record as the biggest launch for an animated series on Disney Plus, ahead of other Marvel shows such as What If and any animated Star Wars series. Yep, that's because they haven't done anything with the X-Men for a while, and it reminds people of the X-Men that caused the genesis here of the 2000s film that is arguably the start of the entire superhero genre that we have now. I know that Blade was before that, and Blade was amazing, but X-Men in the original X-Men animated series was the reason for the Bryan Singer movies, and they were they should have called back to that X-Men series more than they did. They didn't get Rogue right, but we forgave them of that because we got Hugh Jackman as Wolverine doing fantastic work.
Oh, and Patrick Stewart, obviously, as Professor X, which is,
oh yes,
you couldn't get more perfect casting, I don't think.
Absolutely. These public-facing moves come as studio boss Kevin Feige recalibrates the creative direction behind the scenes. That sounds like a reboot to me. I don't know why this thing is fighting me so much. I apologize. Early in February, the company completed reshoots for Agatha Darkhold Diaries. I guess that is the most recent version of that title. The WandaVision spin-off starring Catherine Hahn that is expected to hit Disney Plus this fall. The company usually budgets 5 days of reshoots into the schedule, but the studio completed the work in just one. Okay. I don't know why we're reporting on that, but okay.
Well, it's fueling a sunny outlook, you see, Jonas, around the show internally because they got that down to just one reshoot instead of the usual 5.
Yeah, that is also a show that the fact that they've renamed it 4 times does not speak to the quality of that show. It
Yes.
speaks to maybe this is, first of all, it sounds like it's going to be a female-centric show, which is not generally Marvel's strength recently. I don't have anything against female-centric shows, but if you're appealing to a female audience, by the way, my wife loved WandaVision. I loved WandaVision, the first part of it, at least when they were doing the sitcom parodies. Those were a lot of fun. And then it got a little weird at the end. Paul Bettany as Vision. Looking forward to seeing more of that. I don't think he'll be in Agatha. The studio also quietly hired Eric Pearson to polish the script for Fantastic Four, which will shoot in the summer in London. Pearson is a company stalwart who worked on Thor Ragnarok and Black Widow and has a reputation for taking projects over the finish line. Those are not the strongest moments in the MCU right now. See, if you guys are trying to market here by sending an insider to Hollywood Reporter, these are not the 2 films that you want. Well, Thor Ragnarok, okay, maybe, but a lot of people view that as Taika Waititi having a lot of fun on screen. It was a lot of fun, but it led into Thor Love and Thunder, which not as positively received. And Black Widow, that seemed a little rushed, guys. That seems like that was fixed at the last minute.
Yes. I was stunned when I read that paragraph. I was like, what are you doing here? You're trying to highlight this as a good thing? I mean, for Marvel fans, I think if you would have said, hey, the Russo brothers are coming back and they're going to be helping with this. Oh, okay, good.
Yes.
James Gunn, if they were coming back. Okay. That's good, some good stuff here.
Impossible, but great.
Yes, right, exactly. But the fact that they're trying to really sell us on Pearson for Thor Ragnarok and Black Widow, that's just really kind of stunning, and it kind of shows you that Marvel, even at this point in this retooling or reduction of content coming out of the studio, it might be a little bit spread too thin as it stands even right now.
Let's hear about what's going on with Kang Dynasty. This was obviously the drama that we've been kind of enthralled by over the last little while. Yes. Marvel is also cleaning up the creative mess left in the wake of Jonathan Majors, the once rising actor cast to play the linchpin villain role in the next Avengers movies. That's plural, but who in December was found guilty of reckless assault in the third degree and harassment in a Manhattan court after a domestic incident with his ex-partner, a movement coach he met while working on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. She was a dancer, which would make him seem like even more of a bear. The guy is like twice her size. So yeah, let's just say I'm disappointed in Jonathan Majors' behavior here. Marvel dropped Majors hours after the conviction and is rewriting those movies, which will now either minimize the character or excise him entirely. The first of the new Avengers movies due out in 2026 was initially titled Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, but we'll be getting a new title to remove the character's name. Those sources say that even before Major's conviction, the studio was making moves to minimize the character after Quantumania underperformed, grossing $476 million. See, here's the thing. This is fudge language here. There's a lot of room here when they say, "Oh, it was before the conviction." Okay. You had a long time before that conviction came to light to know what was going on. Also, there was an incident in London during the shooting of Loki, or Loki. It was at Loki season 2.
I think it's Loki season 2, yeah.
Yeah, so they were aware of this for a lot longer than the papers were, I'm fairly certain. So
well, yes.
I got to call question on whether or not this is, oh, no, we were already thinking about moving away from this guy. Because when Quantumania came back, all of the press on the red carpet was like, oh, we're in the presence of Jonathan Majors. They were really praising this guy on the red carpet.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe you might think that they were coaching these people on the purple carpet to emphasize this rising male star.
Yes, I mean, this was the guy that they were really going to pivot towards out of the Thanos kind of era of the MCU right here. This was going to be the big bag. He was really being set up to be this imposing figure working behind the scenes and involving himself in all of these stories quietly behind the scenes to lead up to that Avengers film right here. I think Jonas, you and Pro, I think, were the only ones really covering the Jonathan Majors story from, and maybe some others, Bounding into Comics VR.
Midnight's Edge.
Covering it in a way that really was a more realistic view of this with Jonathan Majors facing these issues. Even though they want to say, well, it's an open secret that they were working behind the scenes, in the case that this didn't happen right here, I just, like you said, that's nonsense. I think the only ones that were really covering the story in the way that it should have been covered was you guys. But I'll give Disney credit that they didn't necessarily scrap him as soon as the allegations came out, that they kind of waited for the process to kind of to come to its conclusion there before actually making a decision on this. But I mean, it was a tricky situation throughout,
right?
For sure.
And Marvel, in my opinion, handled it better than DC did with Ezra Miller, of course.
Yeah.
And of course, we have Captain America: New World Order. Wait, no. Wait. That's not the new title of this movie. This is now Captain America:
Brave New World.
Right? I think they figured out that maybe they don't want that phrase attached to any of their stuff when it's being sent out on social media and hitting the fact checker.
yes. I think if the Russo brothers were still involved, maybe they could have, skirted that line effectively, but not what these writers know. So might as well stay away from it if you can. The expensive Samuel L. Jackson series, by the way, that line right there, that kind of is pinning Samuel L. Jackson as the reason why I didn't do well or whatever. That was just fraught with issues to begin with. So it's interesting that we had this article kind of going at some length to point out the problems that have manifested with the MCU that we have been talking about for so long, but that others just didn't want to admit for some reason. And now finally, after the Marvels have crashed and burned here, we get a little bit of recognition here that yes, the Marvel MCU hasn't been doing so great, and it's good that they're retooling, but might be too little too late.
I wonder at this point. See, this is about the time when they've always been saying, the Western did go away, and we've had lots of commentary on superheroes over the last 100 years that they have been in the comic book and movie zeitgeist here. I wonder if it is time for the MCU to go away entirely and be replaced with something else. That is, of course, the question that's going on with Secret Wars, which sounds like they're going to put everything that has ever happened with a Marvel superhero on screen in Avengers Secret Wars. So it remains to be seen. That being said, we want to throw this off to our commenters, our viewers here. What do you think about what's going on at Marvel? Do you have hope that they are going to be able to pull it through? Will Kevin Feige be able to pull together the talent that was once there at Marvel Studios in order to create something great? Are you looking forward to Secret Wars and seeing Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool on screen? Is that enough to make this worthwhile and get your butt into the seat? In the theater, not on Disney Plus, because reminding you, they don't make any money on Disney Plus. This is something they've got to get you in theaters, in IMAX, in 3D, with the seats that move around and make you sick. No, I'm just kidding there. But you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
They have to get you into the theater in order to make money on this.
And
Is
like you
this
said,
going
a
to do it?
PLF too, a PLF, a premium large format screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, of course, like this video. If you like this video, consider sharing it out on social media. And of course, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.